Praise Orion and the Great Bear. In winter, the picture window in my house at home faced south, and Orion was in the sky, and if I went out my back door, was the Big Dipper or the Great Bear. The winter skies, the very small lights of hope in a cold season up in Michigan. The lights are gone. The lights are gone. The holiday is over. The joy has become a chore, standing in the cold, removing twisted green wire and unplugged twinklers. What excitement remains? There is no anticipation. The bills from a less than perfect celebration are now arriving in the mail. The tree, the joyous tree, is a brown and shedding fire hazard, abandoned to the curb. How absurd to spend all our joy at the start of the long, cold season. There is barely any winter in December. January, February, and March are the bulk of winter, with bulky clothes and sensible shoes. And every bit of warmth is greeted with disbelief, a fleeting trick of the season. The moment you decide to leave your jacket at home, a cold wind comes down from the north. The western front quietly sweeps grayness across the sky. Why are days so short and the months so long? The lights are gone. The colored lights are replaced by the naked filament, burning in the vacuum, a stark necessity of an unforgiving season. Practicality rules midwinter. We do what we have to do to get through. Is there light within us, shrouded by the blankets we hide under? Is there warmth within us, or do we need to huddle near the wood, coal, gas, and electric fires? Burning desire. What is our burning desire when the false lights are sequestered in the attic and the real light is sluggish, returning too slow? Winter up north. Winter up north means snow. The dusting of snow that lets the grass poke through, the blanket of snow that quietly covers the ground, the drifts of snow that block roadways, the snowbanks piled higher than human beings. Being human, we like to play. Skiing, skating, sledding, snowmobile, spinning donuts in the high school parking lot. I've heard that was done. Salt and sand on the roads. Snow tires rumble, pavement crumbles as ice cracks and the asphalt refreezing and freezing. We are prepared for anything. We brag about making it to work. Starting a car is a triumph against nature. The pride of middle-aged men send them to their driveways after every storm. They have something to prove. They dig and they dig until their hearts give way. Winter is pushing against the limits of life, and we push back. We refuse to admit defeat. Snowshoes make you feel like Jesus. Walking on the snow, crossing the crystalline waters. Ice fishing shantytowns civilize the inland lake. A boom town of shelters pulling sustenance through the ice. The tire tracks pack highways on the snowy pond. The season lasts until the first pickup truck falls through the ice. Icicles hang from the side of the house past your windows like the saber teeth of snow leopards. The deer straggle and struggle through the orchard, searching for apples on low frozen branches. The finches and chickadees cluster at the feeder until the blue jay comes their way, scattering them like seeds. We feed the animals because we see ourselves in them. We would not want to be homeless, hungry, and cold. So we share, staring at them through double-paned glass, grateful for what we have, and more grateful for what we can afford to give. Winter down south. Winter down south means rain, cold rain, a dampness colder than freezing. You cannot play at 36 degrees Fahrenheit. The rain does not flurry like sauntering snowflakes. It hurts as it flirts with becoming sleet. No amount of heat can erase the bone-soaking penetration of worthless precipitation. In summer, rain is good for farmers. In winter, it is good for nothing but mud. Stepping into the slimy pudding of red clay will stick with you all day. Winter down south means panic. A single snowflake causes a blizzard of worry, a flurry at the supermarket as bread and milk disappears. We need to buy a year's supply in case it lasts 2 days before it melts. Kudzu hangs from the trees it has strangled. No leaves disguise the sinewy vines of death. The skeleton of summer lushness brushes against the clouds, almost crying out loud. Winter in the south means ice, hiding in plain view on bridges and overpasses while all other surfaces are dry. Ice in bare branches that snap off like gunshots in the night, shutting off the lights, neighborhoods without power, and a pink winter flower that survives. Winter's past. Winter's past was colder. White Christmas was automatic. I remember people remembering the winter of '67 when Chicago stood still. I remember the winter of '71 when I stood on the snowbank and touched the high branches of a tree. Our sidewalk was a canyon. My brother filled a bowl full of fresh snow, and we mixed it with syrup and had a maple slushie. I remember the blizzard of '78. I remember the time. It was great. The world became a wall of white. The town was dead. Froze up in the night. There were no cars in the street. They were buried in the deep blowing snow, blowing cold. And my dad said he had to go and mind the store. He said, people still got to eat. And he worked his boots around his feet. He said, keep warm, son, but never fail to take your shovel and keep a trail through the deep blowing snow, blowing cold. Well, my friend left his home that day, left from the lake 15 miles away, and as he left, his mother smiled and said, you'll be back in a little while. But he and his dog, they were in luck. They got a ride by getting a car unstuck from the ditch, from the deep blowing snow, blowing cold. And covered with snow, he came to my place. Layered with clothes, smile on his face, and we warmed ourselves by the fire. And we talked until we were tired. But every hour, without fail, we went outside to dig a new trail through the deep, blowing snow, blowing cold. Winter's future. Does winter have a future? Polar bears wonder as they flounder in the Arctic Sea, the glaciers recede, falling into the ocean. A white Christmas has virtually disappeared from the USA. Soon we will long for a white New Year. Will we have a dream of a white Martin Luther King Jr. Day? How will the groundhog predict 6 more weeks of winter if winter never comes? Protecting ourselves from the elements, we spew carbon into the atmosphere. Our utmost fears are realized as the world warms and the waters rise. Snow melts, ice caps disappear. We vacation on the beaches of Siberia. The migrating of entire populations, deserting desertification. Searching for salvation anywhere with shade. Air conditioning ceases to be a luxury. It is a necessity when it is too hot to go outside. Winter will be a time of vacation, while summer becomes a season of retreat into our refrigerated cabins. Cabin fever. Cabin fever is a condition of the mind. It has nothing to do with the thermostat. It has nothing to do with room temperature. It's not the sweat on your forehead, but the sweat inside your head. When we shelter ourselves from the weather and lock ourselves inside, there is a period of reckoning. What am I going to do with my life? Who are these people in my home? If we don't go out and entertain ourselves, we might be forced to talk and listen. We look at what we have begotten. Cabin fever is a state of mind, the exploration of inner space, which can be a perplexing place, a vortex of confusion where delusion and reason swirl around one another. A dream state without borders, with unmarked roads and few guideposts. Too often, we look outside of ourselves for guidance. We look to others in search of understanding. We consider the place where we were born and call ourselves a nationality. The architecture of our temple tells us our religion. We look at our skin to determine our race. We look to our job and define and say, I am what I do. We cheer for a team and say, I am a fan. We listen to a type of music and we say, I am an aficionado. We taste something and say, I am a connoisseur. When we look inside, we are confronted with the notion, I am what I am. The very name of God. Our neurons fire like a burning bush, calling us to a higher purpose. And we wonder, who am I? Why am I? And it frightens us. Being trapped inside gives us cabin fever. We ask to be excused. We want to leave. We give a litany of our limitations. I am not smart enough. I am not rich enough. I am not beautiful. I am not powerful. I am not brave. Who am I to dare to be somebody? Cabin fever is the midwinter night's dream. We are trapped in darkness where anything is possible. Alone with the possibilities, we slowly realize that we determine our lives. The weather outside our cabin does not determine our comfort. We choose the temperature inside our home. We decide how many blankets are on our bed and whether to sleep naked or with flannel pajamas. The world outside will never be healthy unless we are healthy inside. We must confront the monsters that clutter up our closets before we can slay the dragons of the world. If we do not have peace within ourselves, we cannot have peace to the world. From time to time, we must retreat from the world and work on ourselves. A long, hard winter forces us to look inside. But even if the weather is mild, we can choose seclusion. Learning to live with ourselves enables us to live with others. May we bless and be blessed.
Let us rise as we are able and join in singing hymn number 55.